Welcome back. This is your Wednesday Good Evening KU segment. I'm Isabella Conjemi.
And I'm Paige Adamani.
So first we want to talk about why Paige is wearing her Sporting KC shirt today.
That's right. This Friday night, Sporting KC is playing FC Dallas, and I will be at the game. So I thought I'd wear my shirt early.
I've never been to a Sporting KC game.
They are so much fun because Kansas City is now really starting to kind of boom as a soccer city. I don't know if it's been officially declared anywhere, but they definitely have it posted everywhere that they are the soccer capital of the country. So it's been really fun to kind of get involved in.
Well, you grew up in the Kansas City area, so you probably have been a fan for as long as you could remember.
I did. I was. It was originally the Kansas City Wizards back when I was a kid, and I used to go to the games all the time. And then they became Sporting Kansas City and redid everything while I was in high school. So I've been definitely following it along since I was growing up.
Right before this, we talked about how we both played soccer, which was kind of funny, you know.
Yeah, we were.
Ran into each other. So what position did you play?
I was center midfield for the most part, but you were, I think.
I was left forward.
Yeah, playing a little bit more offense. I like it.
Yeah.
So are you still a big fan of soccer right now? Are you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really pay attention to it as much as I would like to, just though I don't have much time to, but it's definitely fun to watch some games and definitely to watch it with my dad. But yeah, I always loved soccer growing up. When I was younger, though, I remember being in like kindergarten, and it was kind of like a forced thing, you know. My parents would put you into sports, you know. And my sister hated it. She was a goalie, and she sat in the goal. So, but I always liked it. So my dad, and he has 2 daughters, so he I think he really held on to the fact that, you know, I was the one who played soccer because he played in high school. So
sure, the sport to kind of carry you through.
Yeah,
I like that. But I heard you actually have some more exciting news though going on this winter.
Yeah, I'm super, super excited. I, again, talked to my dad. He is the best. And I'm going to Dubai over a winter break. So I'm a Middle Eastern Studies minor. So I've been studying this for a very long time, and I have always wanted to go like so badly. And this morning I ran in here and, you know, told Kahle, I have something to tell you, So I'm going to Dubai, and it's about a 2.5-week program. And ironically, my roommate is going as well. It's the Global International Studies program and the architecture. So, and she's architecture, so she's going, so I'm so excited. We're going to have a blast.
Yeah, what kind of things are you going to be doing there? Do you know yet?
You know, I'm not sure the exact agenda, but I am taking the advanced topics in Middle Eastern Studies. And hers, I don't know if it's combined with the architecture. I don't know if we're doing similar things. I would assume that they have some group activities, but as far as sightseeing and stuff, and, you know, with my GoPro as repping my journalism major in there.
Oh, it'll
some
be
video.
Such a cool experience. It'll be really fun, I bet.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to kind of add to it? I know it's so new and fresh.
I know. I can't even think of anything else. So it's like I'm in my classes. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I just want to go to Dubai.
Yeah.
But, so right now it's totally fresh in my mind. So I can't think of anything else. Not saying there's nothing else to look forward to, because that's not what I'm saying. But I'm super excited.
So you kind of want to put a dislike to classes because there's that new Facebook button coming out.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. You know, so I read this yesterday about the dislike button on Facebook. And, you know, we were kind of talking about Facebook isn't really used that much anymore. And it's funny because I kind of use it for more as a professional use instead of when I was in high school. And I think I even got Facebook when I was in 8th grade or something, which is just so silly. But, you know, I would post like these silliest statuses and, you know, had to upload pictures and stuff. I didn't really use it like that anymore. I just use it for more of a professional use, but we'll see, you know, what comes with it.
Yeah.
I don't really know. It may be used kind of in a more negative way, which I'm hoping doesn't happen, but I think, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Going to be something to kind of test out on there. I know Mark Zuckerberg kind of came out and said it was a button to kind of show empathy. So I'm having a bad day, dislike.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I hope that it, you know, works in the best way possible.
Definitely.
Well, right after this break, you have an interview coming up.
I do. Yep. We'll be finding out more about the career fair.
Yeah. So we'll meet you after this break.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you. Your identity for life. The University of Kansas. A great place to be you.
Welcome back. I'm Paige Adamani again, and with me here today is
Kahle Loveless. I'm with Garney Construction.
Great. Well, welcome to campus. I understand you were here for the engineering career fair.
Yes, ma'am. We were in here recruiting civil engineers, mechanical engineers, architectural engineers to come hopefully join our company here as interns or full-time employees here at the end of the year.
Great. And was it a successful day?
It was a very successful day. Yeah, we found, I'll tell you, just about everybody we met, same thing at KU. You get good quality students every single year. It's kind of hard to choose at the end.
Oh, excellent. So, well, what are you looking for specifically in a college student?
Really, for the most part, we look for ambitious students, mostly with their engineering degree, construction management, anybody that's interested in traveling, interested in getting out in the field and getting their hands dirty a little bit, and just seeing what real-world construction really is.
Excellent. And what does your company do specifically?
Garney Construction, we specialize in moving water, storing water, and treating water. So water treatment facilities, storage tanks, large diameter water transmission mains.
Great. And you mentioned traveling. So what kind of traveling do students get involved in? Is this as interns or as a career?
As interns and as a career. We've had interns that travel throughout the Midwest, out to Colorado, down to the Southeast for their summer interns. At the same time, we will do local internships where, for example, right now we are starting construction on a water treatment facility in Southeast Lawrence, and we're hoping to bring on some students to do some part-time work out there.
Wow, that sounds like a great opportunity.
Yeah, and then as full-time careers, there's always opportunities to go to different areas of the country. We're coast to coast, Wyoming all the way down to South Texas right now.
Great,
So,
wow. Well, are there really any, besides going in and getting recruited, but major benefits to going to career fairs, even if they're a freshman?
Absolutely. You get out there, you basically get your name out there. You can explore the opportunities out there. You can learn more about new companies. These are, more than likely the folk that you're going to go to work for in the future is right here. So you get a chance to meet people, shake hands, get your name out there, hand out resumes, and really learn some really valuable information about everybody out there, really.
That's great. Do you have anything else to add, though?
Not really. We had an excellent day today. We met many good candidates, and I guess now the tough choice is going to be whittling it down.
Yeah, and I heard actually you are a KU grad yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you graduate with?
Civil engineering, May 2011.
Oh, so fairly recently.
Somewhat.
Yeah, well, welcome back again, and thank you for being on here for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we'll be back after the break.
Hi, I'm Patrick Sullivan.
And I'm Briquette Thompson. This is Wednesday evening KU News Update. Carly Fiorina will join the top 10 Republican presidential candidates in tonight's primetime debate on CNN. Frontrunner Donald Trump expressed oppositions from Ben Carson and Jeb Bush, who promote their experience in national politics. The rest of the GOP candidates, minus Fiorina, will hold an early debate that can also be seen on CNN and online.
37 members of Brock College's Phi Delta Psi fraternity have been charged for criminal homicide, involuntary manslaughter, and more. The charges come 2 years after one of their fraternity brothers died during a hazing ritual. Michael Dang, along with his fellow pledges, was forced to run across a field blindfolded while being hit by other members. The members waited for hours before taking Dang to the hospital, where he later died. Dang's family has filed a lawsuit against the college and the fraternity.
The International Olympic Committee, or IOC, will select the host of the 2014 Olympic Games in Peru in September 2017. The finalists are LA, Hamburg, Paris, Rome, in Budapest. IOC changed the rules this August so that every city bidding for the Olympics progresses to the final vote. It would be the first time hosting for Hamburg and Budapest, second for Rome, and third for LA and Paris.
Facebook has plans to roll out the feature we've all been waiting for, a dislike button. Mark Zuckerberg confirmed at an open Q&A at Facebook headquarters on Tuesday that they will be ready to test the concept very soon. There was original hesitation with the addition because Facebook did not want to give people the option to shut down other people's posts. But Zuckerberg hopes that the new button will give Facebook users the ability to express empathy about their friends' posts.
Students at the University of Kansas were not going to let the Murphy Hall Hawk Stop close down without a fight. But after gaining nearly 500 signatures, the petition's going around to prove not powerful enough to stop the closure of the store that caters to music and theater students. Concerns about the students finding time to get food in the short breaks between classes are being discussed. The decision to close the locations comes after a lack of student fees.
That wraps it up for the news today. Stay tuned, and after the break, we will have Bella Without Borders.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back. On this segment of Bella Without Borders, I have Radwan Dayib as a special guest. Radwan is a student here at the University of Kansas. Radwan, thank you for joining me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Radwan and I are both taking a course this semester named Woman and Islam. The class addresses the widely held stereotype of Muslim women as pawns in a patriarchal socio-religious context. You mentioned in class that your family moved to America in the 2000s. Can you give me a brief background of your family's history?
Right. So my parents are originally from Somalia, and so in 1991 a civil war broke out in Somalia, and at the time my father went to go study for his PhD in India. And so he couldn't necessarily bring both my mother and my brother, who was a year old at the time, with him. So my mother and my brother were stuck in Somalia and then eventually had to flee the country to Kenya to go to a refugee camp. So during this entire time, my dad was in India, and he didn't necessarily have contact with my parents either, or with my mother and my brother. So it was just a tough time for everyone.
I can imagine just on a relationship standpoint or a marriage or family standpoint, that was probably very stressful for your whole family.
Yeah, my dad was up in arms about the whole situation. He tried to contact my parent or my mother the entire time, but there were still some issues, and back then technology wasn't what it is now, so it was just a difficult time for him. But eventually we made it back to, or they made it back to India, and then I was born in 1994, so then things got a little more smooth after that. But yeah, it was just a tough time back then.
Yeah, and I can imagine, I think of the stresses that I have now in school and how, that, influences my work and stuff like that. I can only imagine how it was, not only for your father, having to, try to do, to his PhD, which I can imagine is far beyond mine, and having to, worry about your family like that. So that is a, crazy experience.
Definitely.
So what influenced you to take this Woman and Islam class?
Well, there are two big influences. So the first, obviously, I am Muslim, so that was one influence, and I just kind of wanted to know more about the religion, but specifically women in the religion. And also, I've heard really good things about our professor, Professor Mack. She's wonderful. I went in and stopped in her office hours the other day, and she just talked my ear off about everything that she's done and all the research that she's done in the past. So yeah, just a combination of those two things. And I know previously some people have referred me to her too as well. So it was just a good time.
And as a student standpoint, you know, the same thing with I feel about the classes. I was so excited to take it because you know I love this kind of stuff. And but then when I saw how many books that the class had, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be like an insane class. But, you know, she's so great, and she teaches it with such passion and, you know, inspiring, you know, things that it just makes you want to learn. And, and it's actually, it is very challenging, but it's very, you know, it's interesting, and you have fun learning those types of things. So you kind of talked about it briefly, but how your upbringing has, you know, influenced the way you think on Muslim women, but and Muslim, you know, just or women in general. So if you could talk about kind of like, you know, sexism in, you know, our modern day society and how, you know, how it's come to be, how does that play a role?
Right. So in Islam, necessarily the case isn't that sexism is portrayed, or sexism is like the thing that the Quran says that needs to happen. In fact, it's more of a cultural aspect. So people kind of infuse their cultures within Islam, and so that's what kind of throws people for a loop. So I know in Saudi Arabia, culture is a huge phenomenon, and it's practiced way more, or in regards with the religion as well. So that takes things to an extreme sometimes, and so the culture is really what balances off the religion. For me personally, I'm from Somalia, so my background is that my parents have always raised me to respect both men and women, and to respect women equally. Just because they are women doesn't necessarily mean like you have the right as a man to treat them any worse than you would treat anyone else. So growing up in a household where we value gender identity and gender expression, as well as equality and equity between the sexes, was something that I grew up just knowing. So it wasn't anything strange to me, and it's some of the teachings in the Quran say that as well. So.
And we talked briefly before about how, you know, the media kind of gives us, and it's kind of saddening and scary to think, and, you know, it's the reality of it, that the media doesn't portrays, you know, falsifies things and doesn't really exactly tell us the truth. So from a family, you know, coming to America, how has that affected your daily life, or, you know, your family's daily life?
Yeah, for example, my father, when we first moved to America, he was quote unquote the breadwinner, and he was the one that went out and did his 9-to-5 job every single day. But my mother was a stay-at-home mom at the time. But it was in fact my father who was the one that pushed my mother in order to go become independent, find a job for herself, and want to go just explore the world. So it was up to my father, and he was the one that preached that to my mother, instead of her staying at home and just taking care of us. When we reached the age that we could kind of fend for ourselves, my brother and I, he pushed my mom in order for her to gain a better life for herself as well. So just growing up in a household where it was the norm in order to kind of be independent and value women and women's rights very much so, it was just interesting to grow up that way compared to what we see in the media or what's portrayed in the media.
So
today.
you were lucky, you know, one of the lucky ones, I would consider. So what do you find most important when learning about, you know, Muslim women?
Right, I think the biggest thing is being open and having an open mind, because a lot of the times we do have these misconceptions, and the class that we're in together is all about the misconceptions of women. And so it's important for someone coming from the outside to know, like, hey, this is actually not the way that it is. And so being able to delve deep into not just the religion itself, but the different cultures that have propagated these religions, or so it's important for you to make that distinction between, hey, this is the religion and this is the culture, and women aren't necessarily the grounds for men to be taken care of, or for them to be like all over the women and things like that, the way that the media does portray some of the Middle Eastern countries or the religion itself. So just keeping an open mind and being able to talk to people about these things is something that I've learned throughout the class, as well as throughout my time at KU and just growing up in a Muslim household as well.
Yeah, and how important that it is to tell people the truths of it and stuff like that. So do you have anything else that you'd like to add, or do you think that?
I think that was honestly what I wanted to cover, but just the big thing that we talked about earlier was just today with the little kid, the 14-year-old, I shouldn't say little kid, but the 14-year-old from Texas who
Ahmed.
recently, who recently was suspended and taken to juvenile detention because he made a clock for one of his
I
classes.
can never make a clock.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't either. So, but he got suspended because they thought it was a bomb.
Right.
And so that's one thing that I just wanted to like raise attention to, just knowing that.
That profiling.
Yeah, exactly. And so we talk about misconceptions with Islam in general, and so that's one thing that I would just wanted to mention. Like, it's not always like the way that you think it is, and it's not always that someone is making such a huge device or a bomb or something. It just turned out to be a clock.
Be a smart 14-year-old kid.
Exactly.
Which, lucky for him, lucky for him, he's going to the White House. Unfortunately, it was under bad circumstances, but best of luck with that, and I can't wait to hear more about it. But thank you so much for joining me, and next up, we'll be back with the weather.
Good evening, KU. You are currently looking at a live shot of Memorial Stadium, the home of Jayhawk football. It's a pretty warm day out there right now, though we have some clouds blocking out the sun, making things a little bit cooler. Taking a look at our almanac, we can actually see temperatures are a little bit below average, looking at 89 degrees today, 10 degrees above average, although tonight it looks like we're going to get a little bit of relief. Tonight we're going to look at 74 degrees, partly cloudy. You might even feel a few wind gusts of 15 miles an hour, so maybe a little gusty tonight. As we look forward to our 5-day forecast, looks like tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday should be fairly similar to today, although Friday you might see some storms. A few could be strong to severe, so you're going to probably want to keep an eye on that. Then looks like we're going to have a pretty pleasant weekend, looking at low to mid 70s. For our weather here at KU, good evening, KU. I'm Jacob Ashman. And that's going to do it for our show today. So thank you very much for watching. Be sure to follow us on social media. And of course, be sure to tune in tomorrow at 10 o'clock for Good Morning KU.